I'm Andy Page. You know me as Pearl on ABC's General Hospital, and you're watching EA Interviews.
EA Interviews, episode 541.
Inspiration, transformation, success stories, and the Imperfect Action Round. 7 days a week. Join Mario Ficini for today's Expert Authority Effect interview.
Disrupting television. Things change over time. It started with radio. We moved on to TV. And the internet comes out, all these different mediums. You're watching right now, probably through the internet. You're listening right now, maybe on a jog through a headphone set, maybe through your smartphone, whatever the case is. And I am super excited because I don't know the answer to this. And I'm chomping at the bit because I have none other than Andy Page, Pearl from General Hospital. Longest running soap. I remember it, talking with my neighbors about it when we were younger. She's an inventor, author, and she's been in the business, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to see if I can get some secrets on how to look better on camera and do more stuff, because I know if you're watching this, you're an ambitious entrepreneur, and we're trying to get publicity, but she does it. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be back with Andy Page. Every business needs a book, including yours. And that's why I'm launching my new book to help you regardless of where you think your current writing abilities are. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Once again, that's eapublishingmethodbook.com. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Andy Page. Andy, how are you feeling today?
I am so excited to be with you. I've been looking forward to this for weeks.
Me too. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, you know, we can get you on camera, you can do this, and we were talking about some things just now, but I want to hear from your experience why you feel it's so important to have a presence and use the mediums we have nowadays. And you better tell me the secret that you didn't tell me yet, because I want to know what you got up your sleeve about how TV is going to be changing all this. I mean, what's your take on all of it?
Well, that's a loaded question. So
good.
With regards to,
I got more.
With regards to having a presence, you know, if I were to tell business owners one thing that you want to do if you're launching a business or you're trying to, you know, work hard to have your business grow, I would say you cannot ignore technology. Technology is the one thing that is crucial to today's, you know, business development and success. So we have so many mediums at our disposal. You want to take advantage of all of those. So visual mediums like this are extremely important if you can present yourself in the best possible light. And so attention to detail in something like this is important, because what it says to the consumer is that if you can see that I pay attention to details here, you can probably bet that I pay attention to the details in my products, my services, in all areas of my business. So, you know, presence says a lot, not only about you, but how you conduct yourself and what people can expect from all of your products.
And you're not talking about gifts for Christmas or a birthday or anything. You're talking about how you appear on camera, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wrap a damn good gift, but I am talking about, you know, your presence in all of these mediums. And you don't want to squander any of these opportunities. You know, if you are lucky enough to be interviewed, you know, by you or anyone, you want to recognize that you never know who's going to hear that, see that. So you always want to put your best foot forward in anything and everything that you do.
I love it. Like I was telling you beforehand, like you're one of the most polished, put together people, and I know you. It's your background, and I could argue you have to be. So tell me a little bit behind the scenes, because I know some people in the industry, and I've done modeling and acting stuff before. My background's in video, but you've like lived it. I admittedly do it when I want, and I like it, but I'm not doing it 24/7. So how is TV life different than normal everyday life? And do you have any secrets on how to go even more incognito when you don't want to be on?
Well, I mean, it's not that I live my life on, but I come from a very small town in Alabama where, like my grandmother, if I were to have her, you know, like peek in and be on set with me today, you'd see that she, at 98, she has bright red hair, you know, beautiful purple glasses and lipstick. And so the women in my life really took pride in being Southern beauties. And I'm really fortunate that I have that as an example in my life. So going incognito, I mean, maybe I wouldn't have on lashes like I put on for you, Mario, but for the most part, you're not going to see me, at the grocery store without lipstick and my hair brushed. So I just believe that it doesn't take that much effort. Honestly,
Agreed.
if you've got, your wardrobe is your workforce, you can reach in there. Everything fits great. Everything looks great. It's easy to pull yourself together. I just believe that it's worth the effort. When I feel good and I have, the confidence of my appearance, I linger longer in conversation. I have no problem engaging. I want to, interact and socialize, and it gives me that extra boost that makes my life bigger. And it's that one pebble in my pond that, I find is really effective in everyone I come in contact with.
So I've got 2 or 3 questions now. I'm going to give them one at a time, ask them. But you were saying the reputation. It sounds like you've been doing this for years. This is just who you are. You've always presented yourself well. Whether you're on TV or not, you're going to be presentable, right? That's what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I'm not that girl who needs, a makeup artist to come and make me feel comfortable on set. But I will tell you, I have lived my life with the belief that we don't eat the fruit the same day that you plant the seed. And so when you show up to every situation with the intention of making that situation better, making it easier on the people who are leading the situation, giving your best self, coming to learn and to contribute in a positive way, that sets an example. And so, you might not get this job, things might not go your way at that very moment, but the people that, you were working with will probably leave with a lasting impression. And the fact that I'm the latest cast member on General Hospital, this is my very first acting job at age 54, is proof positive of that. I come from a reality television background, but it was the producers that I worked with 22 years ago.
Wow.
Who had this segment or had this opportunity on General Hospital, and they had seen on LinkedIn that I was now a guest host on QVC. And they reached out to me and it's like, do you remember me? And I'm like, of course. How are you? How's your mama? The whole thing. And they're like, well, we have this interesting opportunity for you. And 3 days later, I had the job. So it was
congratulations again.
Oh, well, thank you. But if you were to ask them, they would tell you it's because, the couple of years that we worked together, I showed up on time. I was always prepared. I did my best. If they needed me to go get coffee or scrub a floor, I'd be like, sure, no problem. I'm not degraded by that. I'm happy to support you however you need me to show up. And I actually think that that's really important. I think a lot of people need to hear that. I am not in any way insulted if you need me just to pitch in whatever capacity is needed at that moment. And so I think that they know that. And, with this being a new venture and really a television experiment, this is a perfect example. So one of the ways that we're getting out the word about this new experiment is for me doing these podcasts. And I was like, of course, I'm happy to do that. I would love to be able to talk about this. And you
definitely jumped in at it.
Yes, I have. And I've enjoyed it so much. But there are lots of people who'd be like, yeah, no, that's not my bag. But I have actually loved it.
So what I'm hearing here is a lot of you really come to every situation looking to add value to it, and that's what people are remembering.
I do think, I guess that might sound a little self-centered or
No, not at all. That's what I'm hearing, because one of the things with entrepreneurship, I've said this for years, like when you create value for someone, the business is not rocket science. It's like, I have this thing, I can help you. Do you want this thing? Here's how much it is. It's just serving, and you get compensated for it. And people think it's like, I tell people all the time, if you have a pad of paper and a pen, like, you can create a business. It's like not rocket science. I assure you, if I can, anyone can. But so many people lose this value creation. It's like, well, now I got to do all these things, and you're just keeping it simple. It really, I'm hearing a lot of, you're just keeping it simple. Like, I just look for ways to add that. And the other thing I heard was, within 3 days you had the job. Do you think that had more to do with they knew you, they could trust you, and I mean, that just seems like an insanely quick timeline for any casting.
No, it's true. And I do think it's because they were able to convince the powers that be that they knew that they could depend on me, that I was someone that they could put this on my shoulders and I'd help them carry it for sure.
I'm seeing more and more of that. Can you tell us the secret now? You're teasing me here. You even said it in here. You said it's an experiment. There's this new thing, and I'm like, uh-huh. You're really segueing into this. So
I know.
what is this experiment? Why is it an experiment? I don't think it's experiment having someone as good as you on there, but and the show's been around. So what is the experiment?
Well, so it is an experiment. And let me just tell you, you're right. The show has been on for 61 seasons. I used to watch General Hospital with my great grandmother in the 70s. So to think that I'm now a part of this legacy show is amazing. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but did I tell you that my co-host is Morgan Fairchild?
No, not yet, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool.
It's very cool. For your listeners who don't know, Morgan Fairchild was a huge star in the 80s. She was on a show called Knots Landing. But most recently, if you've ever watched Friends, she was Chandler's mother, that gorgeous blonde bombshell. And now she is my co-host in this particular storyline of General Hospital. And so here's the experiment. So we are, watching television in very different ways. And, it's called a soap opera for a reason, Mario, because historically, soap has paid for it. So soap companies historically paid for the shows in daytime television. That's why it's called a soap opera.
For the commercials, the advertisements?
Yeah, that's right. So, we think that television is free, but actually it is the advertisers that ultimately pay for the shows that we enjoy. And because most of us are watching shows differently now, we're streaming them or in some way trying to dodge the commercials, they're having to become a little more creative with how they can maintain ad revenue and ultimately the survivorship of the show. So on General Hospital, there has been a 20-year-old storyline about Deception Beauty. And Deception Beauty is this cosmetic company that is run by these amazing, gorgeous powerhouse women. And the fans and viewers have had the opportunity to watch a lot of the products come to life. They've seen, red light therapy wands developed and serums and, the processes of packaging and patenting and all of the viewers have really had an education in this over the past 20 years. And the fans have been, really kind of asking for a lot of these products to come to life. And as I said, things are changing. So a few years ago, the genius at General Hospital decided, okay, well, what if we brought Deception Beauty to life? And we created a way for people to actually use the show as a consumer base to buy things. And so let me explain how that works. So what happens is they have brought deception to life. Deception Beauty is now a real thing. And as the products are licensed and produced, they are then brought to Home and Heart, which is the shopping network within General Hospital. And there are two hosts there, Morgan Fairchild and me. And we present those products, and then they are moved to shophomeandheart.com, where consumers can now buy the products that they have watched being developed. So when this was pitched to me, in that 3-day period, they basically said, what if you could have bought Fonzie's jacket?
Oh, that's cool.
Or what if, you could have figured out and purchased, the hair care products that Monica and, Rachel were using on Friends. So we believe that what is going to happen is that if this works, that what you will be watching in network television will you will be able to consume it. So whether it's the clock on the wall, whether it's a sweater someone's wearing, whether it's cosmetics, every show will eventually have a website so that you can purchase anything that you see within a show. And that is not only going to support the show, but it's going to allow you to use that opportunity to consume
wild.
As well.
That's awesome.
So It is an experiment, and hopefully it's going to work because, again, this is the longest running show in television history. There's still 2 to 3 million people who watch this a day and, want it to live on for more generations. So this is just, one experiment to see if, ad revenue can shift. And if it can, I can assure you it's only a matter of time before every show picks up on it.
So this is surreal because I feel like we're talking about AI and augmented reality, but it's not, but it is. Because you're augmenting reality with the virtual, but you're doing it with a real thing, not just a video game.
That is very complex and true. I think, yes. And, the fact that they have developed the storyline that there is a fictional, shopping network so that, within the storyline, you are seeing me do my normal QVC pitch because I'm also a QVC host. So you're seeing me kind of do my QVC pitch within the show, and it's a part of the storyline. That, kind of takes the virtual out of it, if you will, because I am realistically doing that. And then when you go to shophomeandheart.com, I do, again, my QVC pitch just as Andy Page, showing you all of these products. So, I do think that there is some virtual there, but all of the products and everything that you're seeing is coming to life, and you can bring them into your home. So, yes, it is a mix of the virtual, but the fact that, you can really buy the things that you've seen developed or, thought that you wish you could have. I mean, I can remember watching Sex and the City, in the 90s and the 2000s, I should say. And Carrie had this amazing painting on her wall that I would just obsess over. And I always wish that I could have that. I could have it. So to think that, it's just a matter of time before everything that we see that we're watching is something that we can acquire through a link or a website. I think it's very exciting, and it's also closer than you think.
I want to say it's wild again because it is, but it's not. It's reality. I mean, I remember when I was publishing my latest book, I was telling everyone I'm publishing a book on book publishing, and it was very meta and like nerve-wracking, if I'm being honest, because you can write a book on anything and it's like, okay, cool, it's done. But I was like, this better be right because everyone's judging me 10 times more than normal. And it's also reminding me of the Instagram, the food stuff where it's like they make a post and then they say, here's the spoon, here's the thing. And I noticed the last few years they started, and it's probably been 8 years. It's not my bag. Putting the links to the things. So how else are you guys thinking about? Are you doing social post with the linkage to the thing also? And I got to get out of you, what's coming out that you haven't talked about yet that you're going to tell with us and reveal to our audience, in the next 3 to 6 months? Because I know you just have this, you're sharp, and I know there's more that you're not saying. So you got to tell us a little bit more.
Well, it is true. So this is the first show. And again, it's an experiment, but I will tell you that as it stands right now, there's at least one more, possibly two more. We'll find out in the next week, actually, that are shows that are beginning from, inception. They're launching in 2025, and they will be launching with all of this technology completely built into them.
Wow.
So this is, like I said, the first, and, ABC felt that the deception storyline lent itself to, starting here. But there are other networks who have picked up on it, and those networks are building an entire show where every single thing that you witness will be purchasable. So I do think that we're going to see that this is a part of everything that we consume, both on streaming as well as on network television. Which actually makes sense. I mean, there are so many times when I'm watching, I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Or, oh, that's really interesting.
You just want to buy it instantly.
Yeah. You want to know, is it affordable? Is it luxurious? And the other thing that you have to know is it's just a matter of time as all this happens that they're going to be, dupes and knockoffs. And, so it will be very interesting to see how all of this progresses. But I do think that this is a way that television is going to sustain itself. Just because, like I said, our number one goal, especially in a season like this, where, we've all been so bombarded with, campaign ads and political ads. The last thing I want to do is watch television and have to watch an ad. So, and I'm not alone in that, so I do think that this is going to be revolutionary and actually kind of a little fun. So I think
it sounds like a lot of fun, but I agree with the ad stuff because, like YouTube Premium and all these things. They're like, oh yeah, there's all these services. And it feels like 6 or 12 months ago, they all go, oh, we're losing money on all the ad stuff. So now it's like, oh, you have to pay and get paid to have the ads removed, which I do because I don't like them. As much as I love advertising, marketing, helping you grow your business, when I want to relax, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. But it brings up the point, like you're saying, what do you do with all that shifting in buyer demographics? And are you doing anything with, and I remember this from years ago, it's not even new, but they were pushing like during a commercial break or something, scan the QR code. They like knew people were on their phones watching, people are on a screen watching a screen. So they were like, forget about it. Let's just add something in. So they had supplemental content like during the commercial break. Like, do you think Chandler's going to get back with whoever it was at Monica, whichever one that's correct? They had it like follow along to keep you engaged and basically keep you sitting there.
Yeah, it's very interesting. As a matter of fact, in Los Angeles and Hollywood right now, they actually have what's known as a double screen test. And the double screen test is, can this content withstand the attention of a double screen? And in other words, watching a screen, knowing that someone is watching on a phone, watching on a screen, and can it still, keep someone's attention? Because everyone in Hollywood knows that people are watching at least 2 screens when they're watching anything. So it is true. You are going to see, QR codes and double screen language in more of television. And that will actually be how you get to a website with regards to products being consumable within the show. Or, and then within that, taking you deeper into more content about that specific product. So yes, you are going to see, QR codes and more double screen language because that is absolutely a part of, everyone's media experience these days.
That is wild. So they're already testing for that. And I knew it was nothing new, but it was just like, I can't say that. I was with someone, huh?
The double screen test is also a litmus test for movies now, because not only are you double screen testing for television, you double screen test for movies. That is an actual thing. And it has to withstand the double screen test even when you're in a movie theater.
Wow. So people are on. Yeah, you're right. You're right, because that's real easy to spot. So the scenario I was thinking of, it's going back quite a bit, and it's with people don't talk to as much anymore. And I was just like, everyone was sitting on the couch watching this thing, and there must have been 7 or 8 screens for 3 or 4 people. And it was just like, are we going to watch this or not? Like, why am I here? And just tablet here, thing here, laptop, just like, holy smokes, like, how much are you trying to handle? So I can understand if it's like, hey, I see something cool, let's make sure we buy that. Cool, pull out the phone. But I've also seen the live tweet thing before. Hey, we're going to live tweet the thing, and you're just sitting there like, oh, I caught it right as it came through. So where do you see this in 5 years from now, even beyond this? What more do you think could be done that's not part of the standard now, even though they've already upgraded to double screen test and the interactive? I mean, I think it's surreal. And I feel like part of you feels like it's surreal too, maybe playing the character just because like we both knew it, but you're also so good at it and comfortable with it. It's your new norm, right?
Well, it is. I honestly think the next thing that's going to happen, to be honest, is you're going to be able to communicate directly with the celebrities. Like last weekend, I actually
during the show while it's live.
I do think so. I'll give you an example. So last weekend, I was at the largest National General Hospital fan event, and there were still over 1,000 people there from all over the country to come and meet the celebrities and to talk to them and to take photos with them. To engage with them. These are, fans that have been watching, these storylines for decades. There were mothers, daughters, and granddaughters there who've been watching the show together for years. And I think that the next evolution will be opportunities for you to literally watch live with, your celebrity, and then you pay for that. I think it's going to be a thing. I think it will be a part of contracts. People want so much to have that personal connection, even if it's with, someone that's a part of a storyline and they know that it's a fictional storyline and they know that this is a real person. The interaction to people is still extremely valuable and it means something. So I think that is one other facet that I think we can probably see, and a way for people to or I should say for networks to keep people connected to network television.
Why do you feel that it is so important to have that? They want that connection with the celebrity they're watching.
I think that people are really involved in the storylines. And, I was fortunate. I had a camera crew with me for the 2 days that I was at the fan event, interviewing people and learning more about, their dedication to this show. And what it seems is if these people have become so invested in a show like General Hospital, that these people become their family and they become so real to them, and they want the opportunity at almost any cost to have that connection and to be validated for their loyalty. Especially when it comes to a show like this, they want the validation that they're seen and that their loyalty means something. And I think connections directly with the celebrities often offer that.
Do you think this is going to go to a pay-per-view type of thing? Is it per episode? Is it by a season pass? Do you think it's a monthly subscription?
No, I don't know about that. I can't speak to that, but I do think that there will be another. And again, it's not because I'll be honest with you, I don't have any insight into this. I just believe.
Educated guess, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and I've done 2 fan events, right? So I have actually done 2 fan events. So I have seen what this means to the celebrities, and both the celebrities and the fans.
Sure.
And so I just think it's a matter of time before, someone kind of picks up on that and recognizes how important that is to sustaining a show like General Hospital, or a show that's been on for, several seasons.
Talk to me about Cameo, because I feel like this is all in the same vein.
It is. That's very interesting because do you like Cameo?
I think it's cool.
Yeah, I actually find it extremely disappointing for what we were talking about earlier, because, to see a celebrity, when they're on set and, have had, all of the hair and makeup and the grooming, and they take on that character with the help of, dozens of artisans, if you will,
sure,
who have worked very hard to craft that specific image. And then to, get a cameo from someone who looks like they basically just did their laundry, I find it really disappointing. So I could be wrong, but I every time I've ever attempted to do a cameo, or I've attempted to purchase a cameo for someone, I'm always just like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in sending a video that does not reflect the character that I thought was there. So I don't know. I personally am always disappointed in a cameo.
So when you're getting them from other people, have you done them for people?
No, I'm not on Cameo. I'm not on Cameo. I don't know that anyone. First of all, I'm very accessible. I mean, you can find me. So I am not, if there were a D-list celebrity, I'm like an ST or an R-list celebrity. I mean, so I'm not on Cameo. No one has ever asked me to do that. Well,
I appreciate the humility and not what most do, but because I was going to say, if you're on set, it would be real easy in my mind. Like if someone wanted in the office or in the studio here, you just go to that setting. Like you're going to be there at certain times a week anyhow.
That's true.
You just put something in there that says, I only film once every 2 weeks, but it is going to be better than everyone else's. Promise.
Yeah, that's probably something I haven't seen. So I do think people need to up their Cameo game, and I'll probably leave it at that.
It also sounds like it might be an opportunity for you to have your own platform and make a standard where it's like better than Cameo, because we don't let anyone do it while they're doing their laundry at the laundromat or whatever.
Well, it's a good point. And Mario, you set the standard for podcasts. So, maybe that is my next business venture, me setting the standard for, cameos. I
appreciate that more than you know, but a lot of my friends are going to be like, really? I've been doing it 10 times longer than him. There's a lot of good people out there, but
of course.
everything we do, like the books, the show, everything one-on-one, I like to set the example for people, let them know what's possible, because I think in business and life, there's just so many people who just, they have these great ideas. I wasn't joking about the competitor to Cameo and different things, but people just, I think we've all lost, not all, okay, don't pigeonhole, don't make generalities. I say this all the time in marketing, be specific. There's a lot of people who have lost their imagination. They lost the ability to dream. They lost, maybe they didn't lose it. They're afraid to use it until, like you said, what if you set the standard and now everyone goes, well, let's get her Cameo because she does it like this and no one else does. What if you set the stage here? You know, I'm a firm believer in it. I knew we were going to have a great conversation. But when you were saying I like bringing light, I like bringing joy, my turtle's name is Joy, and I'm a firm believer with the light. And you can be the beacon of hope for someone wholeheartedly, be the lighthouse, and 100%. So just being a certain way, people will see you're different, whether it's for business or I'm not even talking marketing strategy, this or that. I'm just saying be better and you'll attract better.
I definitely think that we find what we're looking for. And if you are, looking for, bright, inspirational, amazing people, you will definitely find that. And if you, speak ill of people and you speak, in less than positive terms, then you will ultimately find the negative in the world as well. So I definitely think that you're right about that. One of the things, I don't know if I mentioned this in my bio, but so 15 years ago, I actually cut off my right foot. And so there was a time when I was very aggravated and kind of mad at God and the universe, and I could not understand how something so traumatic and horrible, would happen to me. I was 5 days away from leaving to start filming the next, season of my show, and it just didn't make a lot of sense to me why, God, if you will do this to me, because I've always been, a good girl and positive and all of that. And it took me a while to realize that no matter whether I had a right foot or not, that the blessings that I have in my life and the positives that I have in my life far outweigh the negatives, like far. So if I just focused on this one thing and allowed it to defeat me and allowed it to filter all of my thoughts and my response to the universe, then it was ultimately going to see me as a victim, and I refuse to be a victim of this world. I am, far more than that. So I definitely believe that, like you say, we reap what we sow, and you can turn anything into a positive. If I had not, cut my foot off, I would have never developed the Girly Go Garter, which is, my patented product that helps women all over the world. I would have never married my husband. I wouldn't have 3 amazing kids. So I think that, we have to recognize that no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, you've always got to look at the bright side of things. And I know that can be really hard, but you've got to focus yourself to think to think about things with gratitude and blessings, and not with punishment and victimhood.
100%. I was about to make a joke. You said you find what you're looking for, you attract to you what you're looking for. I can't top that, but I was going to ask, what if you think you found what you're looking for and then it gets thrown all over the place and it doesn't work out the way you expected it? And I know with every opportunity, every adversity, there's equal and opportune seed of greatness. And if this isn't what God gave you, there's something better down the road. But then why still? Like, I'm not a beginner. This isn't my first rodeo. Like, why does stuff still just make you go, huh, that's weird?
Yeah. I mean, that was cutting my foot off was a huge kind of stop sign in the trajectory of my career, to say the least. But obviously, I needed to kind of regroup. And now I'm coming back to television with a whole other level of wisdom. So after my accident, I started working behind the scenes because I really struggled with walking without a limp for a long time. And so, I went on to do hair, makeup, and wardrobe for Celebrity Apprentice. I went on to work behind the scenes on lots of shows and to help individuals and to bolster them and lift them up, which has ultimately been, my small pebble in their pond that's allowed them to help people. So no matter the circumstances, if you can just take a break and take a breath, and even when you think like, why on earth did this happen? I just believe that if you can give it a moment and give it a thought and look at it in the larger terms, there are other ways that you can give, contribute, help, support, and be in service to help others. And like I said, those seeds will come back around. I mean, now, I'm 15 years out. I've had 7 surgeries. I walk without a limp. And I am back, at the top of my game. And all of that has come full circle.
Okay. You're amazing. I want to bridge the gap from all the people who don't think that's possible to literally what you just said. And I know it has to do with attitude and stuff, but I know there's more. I've not gone through all that. But how do you maintain such a good attitude, have the gratitude, still have the courage, the discipline? Because it's not any one thing. It's that iceberg picture we all see, success and then what it takes, and it's all that. Yeah. And it's just like, why do some people that don't have that? I've noticed a correlation. It seems like the worse upbringing and the worse life someone's had, and sometimes they just go off the rails and it doesn't work out at all and they're like horrible. But then I've noticed a direct correlation ever since I started. I knew it before, but people I've had on the show, it's just like they just keep going. I'm like, really? Like, how? Because I like to think, yeah, I do the same thing. No, I know what I can deal with, and pretty much everyone's had it worse. And I'm just like, how do you overcome it? How? Is it courage, discipline, prayer?
Sure, it's all of that. I think it's really asking yourself,
what are the ratios? What's the biggest one?
Well, I mean, I have never had a problem being courageous. I mean, I dropped out of high school at the age of 17 and moved to New York by myself because I was determined I wanted to have a big life and not be the postmaster at Chickasaw, Alabama, which is what my grandparents wanted me to do. So I am very fortunate that I have had good opportunity. There's no doubt about that. And I also had a really strong upbringing. I went to a Catholic school where I was in, church 5 days a week at a Catholic school. And then I was at a Baptist church 2 days a week. So I truly walk in faith with the belief that God is my bud. And wherever I'm supposed to go, I am perfectly fine with God leading me there. And I do believe that. But that leads me to the bigger picture is if you ask yourself, okay, why am I on this planet? What is my true purpose? Mm-hmm. And I firmly believe that all of us have the purpose of serving in some way. Like we are here to serve in some way. And so my attitude has been, okay, well, if I can't serve people in front of the camera because of my accident, how else can I serve? How can I take the talents, the gifts that I know I have? I mean, I obviously have a talent. I can speak directly to the camera. I can rally a crowd. I can, sell anything. I recognize that I have this talent and gift. And if I can't do it in front of a camera because of my accident, who can I help? How can I teach? How can I continue to be of service in some way? So for me, I think the question comes with really, how may I serve the universe? How may I serve others with whatever talents and gifts that I have? And I do believe that every single person listening to this has talents. It's just you have to take yourself, your wants, and your needs out of it and ask how you can be of service to others instead.
And with all those great attributes, you never once thought politics?
Oh, gosh. Well, no. I mean, I have been encouraged to go into politics, to be honest, but I don't know that I have.
You know where you're at right now.
Yeah, I don't know that I have it in me. To be perfectly fair, my dad was an elected official, And so I'm very aware of what it takes. And that's probably why. I lived with my dad going through 4 elections. It is a very difficult thing. And even my husband had played with, running for governor for a little while. And so I just, yeah, it's a very sweet thought, but no.
Yeah, it's I know people too. It's kind of grueling, but I just had to throw that in on today. But honestly, there's so much. And I was going to ask you about the flip side of it from business, my lane, publishing, speaking. Have you considered doing more public speaking events outside of I'm the character at the con event or the industry thing? Just because you're completely motivational and inspirational, like, could you see yourself just doing that too?
Oh, most definitely. When I was launching my book and doing lots of things with my old shows, I would absolutely do a lot of public speaking, primarily around image, the importance of image, and how to help people look like a million without spending a fortune, which is kind of my moniker. TV Guide, kind of labeled me the budget bombshell. So I took that and ran with it for years before my accident. I did a lot of public speaking. I'm extremely comfortable in front of people. So sure. And I would be happy to do that again. If that door opened, I'm happy to follow where the leads take me.
That's so inspired. I feel the same way. There's so many things you could do. Anyone. When you're good at one thing, it's easy being good at like multiple things. It's one reason I have to rein in our authors going, oh, I got 15 ideas for doing the books. I'm like, cool. Well, pick one. That's the book we'll do first. And it's like, well, I can do this, this, this. But there's something magical that happens when you focus and just get it done. And I 100% agree with you on feeling led. Personally, for me, I know God's got me on a path, and it's like when you're on there, it's like this may not make sense most of the time, but you're on the right path. And when you're not, like, to me, it's very obvious. Just like nothing seems to work no matter how hard you try. And then conversely, you can do like close to no work, and it's just like, really? 3 more months
Mario.
of smooth sailing? Take it. Thanks.
Yeah,
What
no,
about
you're
the first
so
20
right.
years?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I 100% think you're right. I mean, what is meant for you is meant for you, and there's almost no way you can thwart that. I definitely believe that. So I see your point, and I think it's true. But the other thing that I really want people to hear is, again, I'm 54 years old. I want to live to be 100.
No one would know that. Just saying.
Oh, I try. There's no doubt I try. But my point is that, in my mind, I'm only halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
I still want another 50 fabulous years of work and experience. And the one thing that I think is going to project me in whatever, direction is next is my curiosity. Because the minute that you think you know everything is the minute that not only are you aging yourself, you stop growing. Mm-hmm. So I never want to, come off as old, but I also never want to come off as someone who feels like they know everything. So I do not know everything, and I continue to stay curious, and I follow those curiosities. And that ultimately is what kind of leads me to my next project or, down my next path.
I agree 100%. This is surreal. I remember having B. Jeffrey Madoff. He produced the Victoria's Secret fashion shows for 20 years. And I had him on the show, and he said the very similar things, the curiosity. And one of my favorite quotes when I was zoning out in choir class, even though I loved it, there was a quote. Mr. K had that calendar quote on the desk, and whatever the first day of school was, I asked if I could take it, but it was Einstein, and it said, imagination is more important than intelligence.
Ooh, I love that.
I've stuck with that, and if it's not in my book, it should be maybe on the next edition. I've like that always goes back, like so many people trying to learn everything in the world. It's like, first, you're not God. Second, you're going to need 3 lifetimes to pick this up. How about just ignore it all and do what's on your heart?
Well, I do love that, and it's reassuring for a B student, which I really was.
Oh, you actually got letter grades? That's fantastic. Like you were making a joke earlier, I'd be an RSTLNE like on Wheel of Fortune. Hi.
Yes, I did, but no, I absolutely love that. I think imagination is extremely important, but also I just think there's so much lost. We're kind of in our second generation of people who are more comfortable in a virtual world than they are in a reality,
100%.
And I feel like we're really experiencing a loss in so many areas. And of course, technology is wonderful, and we are all, really benefiting from lots of technology. But there's so much to the personal experience and to, the personal growth that doesn't revolve around virtual and technology. So I hope that people are both inspired to, utilize those things, but in our words, recognize that what we're talking about is really the human experience that's so
Sure.
important, and being able to see things, from a higher plane and understand your mission on a higher level. So
This might be dating us a little bit, but do you remember when kids used to leave their bikes on the lawn?
yeah, my kids still leave their bike on the lawn.
And
Of
like
course I
people would
do.
actually play outside and kick or throw a ball?
Well, sure. I absolutely remember that. I think it's I don't know. Do people not do that anymore?
I
I
think
guess
it
not.
depends where you're at. I've
Yeah.
asked this to a lot of people, and when you were talking about people are more comfortable with virtual, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and here's the fun spillover about what 7, 8 years ago, the whole Pokemon Go thing where people were just walking through real life in the streets, like, but it was still augmented. I'm like, dude's getting hit by a car for a Pikachu.
I know. Yeah. Well, at least I got him out of the house. But yes, no, I definitely understand. I definitely understand what you mean.
So
I
now the
think
adults need a playpen.
yeah. Well, I think I told you so. The latest thing that has my curiosity is dating. I mean, I am happily married, but I am obsessed what's going on with modern dating. And so I've been doing all of this research and doing a deep dive into modern dating. I have created a podcast that I haven't
Yeah, your
launched yet
show.
because I'm not 100% happy with it yet. But it's called the Dating Lab with the Hillbilly Yenta. I'm the Hillbilly Yenta because that's what my husband calls me, because I'm just so nosy and want to get in there and make sure everybody's in love. But this is, one of the curiosities. And so it's my curiosity, but I also think it is an area where we are really seeing that the virtual world and reality are not, it's
Why do you
proving to
think
be
that
very
is? Why do you
difficult.
think? And I was going to make a joke. You said, what's going on with the dating world? And I was going to say, is anything going on? Because everyone I talk to is like irritated with it. Like, why do you think there's such a disconnect in? I don't even know. I'm the worst person in the world to be asking this right now,
Well,
but
are you in love, Mario?
no,
Are you dating anyone, Mario?
no.
So, Mario, let me just tell you a few statistics that
Okay,
I
good.
have learned. You should know that the top 10 dating apps are all owned by one hedge fund. And the goal with these apps is not to help you find love, it is to help you maintain
Subscription.
$30 a month. Right. And there's also a 70-30. It's disproportionate. There are 70% men and 30% women because they have really realized that men will continue to stay on the app because men engage in FOMO far more than women do. So they have really adjusted the algorithms to keep men like really succumbing and to keep men on the apps, which is unfair, because the other thing that I'm discovering is that men are really struggling right now. Men, in many ways, have kind of lost their drive, and women have lost their power. So men are feeling disenfranchised. We have got to figure out in this country how we can elevate women without diminishing men. And women now are pursuing men, which has completely changed the ball game, and it's not how things should ultimately be done. It sets everything up very oddly for most men. So again, I'm doing all this research, and what I am learning is that what there is like you say, there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable and sad and just do a lot of bitching about this, and there's not a lot of solutions. So as I deep dive, what I'm really trying to come up with is solutions to how we can ultimately reconnect And I mentioned the two generations of people who are more comfortable in the virtual world because we are now experiencing so much ghosting and people stand people up and there's,
Regardless of
catfishing
if it's Halloween or not.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, ghosting is just hitting, game over button, right? Which is what we are all comfortable with. Oh, I don't like this. My player's not doing so well. Oh, okay, well, boop, game over. That's what ghosting is. And it's unfortunate. It's not courageous. It's awful. So we've got to get back to having courage and curiosity and wanting to get to know people in person.
In real life, I was just going to say IRL because at some point, cool. And I'm familiar with the apps. It's not really I'd rather talk to someone in person, meet organically. But the logic of it, it's the same thing. I joke about this in business when people are like, oh, I'm not going to the meeting. I'm not going to the event. I'm not going to the seminar. I'm not going to whatever the thing is in person. They're like, oh, I just email them. I'm like, how boring. I go, what about just Zoom? And some of them go, oh, we have Zoom calls. I go, they've been your client for 6 years. You've never met in person once. Like, how cool is that from a business standpoint? Like, hey, we can work together and we might do this once a week, but I would still want to meet after a few months, hey, this is it's a friendship, relationship, whatever. There's a real world out there. Yeah. It's hard to eat through a screen. Hey, let's get more of this dessert, 2 of them. Just, business conference, whatever the case is, or dating, you know what I mean? At some point, how do you take this out of the machine and into real life? And I think that's where a lot of companies, dating, anything, it's that's the cinch point. Everyone's good technically. But how do you hold a conversation like this? We just met. You're awesome. Yeah. I'd love to meet you in person.
Yeah, I think you're awesome too. As a matter of fact, we're going to stay in contact because I'm going to find you love and I'm going to give the best, toast at your wedding. I'm feeling it. But
wow.
Also,
okay, now.
Yeah.
This thing's still on and live. Fantastic.
But I definitely think that you're right. I mean, in person is something that is missing. And I agree with you. We need to give people more courage and skills to get back to in person in everything, in business, in life, in dating, in relationships, and everything.
Wow. Cool. This is not what I talk about on the show. Ask me business stuff. Okay. Expert Authority World, I always want to deliver for you. I'm going to do something I've never done in 500 plus episodes. So when you asked me, am I dating anyone? And I was like, no. There was someone I thought was and it's been years before. That was the thing I've been confused about. What the hell's going on? Because based on I actually, should I say this live? Probably not. I even said to people, I can't say that. I have enough proof of conversations and things that if I am 100% confident, and I know she can see this, but I'm 100% confident if I showed you everything, you'd be like, oh yeah, she likes you. And I'm confident if it was a season of a show with all the, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's where that was stemming from now that you brought that up. But I appreciate that just painted a picture that was surreal.
Well,
I would love nothing more than to find someone, have a family of my own, all of that. And yeah.
Great. Let me help you. But in addition to that, if there is someone that's on your radar, you owe it to yourself to take a swing. I mean, home run hitters strike out the most, Mario. So don't stop. My husband asked me to marry him 3 times.
Please ask me some publishing stuff. This is no, I don't want to back down from this because too many people do. But I just talked to her the other day too.
Look at this. How fortuitous. Well, anyway, this is why my husband calls me the hillbilly yenta, because literally it's like one of my favorite new passions. It's to find out if you're in love, to get in there. Let's figure out why. Let's figure out what's going on, and let's make a match. I mean, every mop has a handle. there is no reason why we are, 50% singles in the United
Yeah,
States. We have got to, the other thing is that God tells us that life is to be lived through love. And so so many of us are missing out on so much. So I know it sounds crazy, but this is my latest passion, in addition to General Hospital and QVC and all the other things. But this is definitely something that piques my curiosity,
I
as you
love
can
it.
tell.
There's people I'm thinking of. My friend Kimmy actually helps people to flirt better.
Yes, flirting is definitely a lost art because it's not even allowed at any workplace anymore. So it is definitely needed. Go, Kimmy, teach them.
Yeah, there's people I'm more than happy to introduce you to, and I can't wait to talk more. Wow, this is I sure wore my red tie. I feel like I might be matching it right now.
You're blushing a spoosh.
Am I?
But that's okay. Yeah, just a little. You know what? I'm so happy.
Let me
we've had
adjust
this
the
time.
camera real quick, the white balance.
I love that we've had this time, and I love that I have poked a little. Mario.
I was
we're
trying to
gonna be
get stuff
friends.
out of you, and you flipped it. So,
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
yeah,
I
this
love
has been
it. I
great.
love it.
I got to ask you a couple more quick questions before we finish. This is the wheel of whatever.
Oh, I love the wheel of whatever.
You want
Let's do
yellow
it.
or black?
I do love yellow. It's my favorite color.
Cool. That's I'm familiar with it too. So your question on yellow, you see that right there?
Yes, sir.
With everything we were talking about and how great you are technically on broadcast, all of these things, and you're definitely motivational. Where do you think we are going to be down the road, and how can we help more people to learn to socialize and just be normal again? You made the comment about, it makes the women in weird situations. I almost said backwards, and I'm sure that's going to get backlash. But the reality is, I know women are supposed to be in feminine and men are supposed to be in masculine, and it's just whatever now. Some people are just shut your mouth, stop talking. You know what I mean? Like, how do we get back to just people actually caring, helping, and just traveling and being normal humans, like you said, that are curious, like we grew up with, where we actually built stuff and made the world a better place?
I do think that the pendulum is swinging back. And I think the more, the truth is all of the technology that we're experiencing in social media and everything, it is, very much an experiment. We don't know how it's going to affect us. And the more we become aware of how it's affecting us, and we are becoming more aware, I do think that we will start to self-correct. I do truly believe that. I believe that parenting will, like, for example, I have a 22-year-old daughter and I have two 18-year-old daughters. The 22-year-old daughter got, a device in the 6th grade. The 18-year-olds did not get a device until they were 14, because you learn and you adjust. So I definitely think that we will start to adjust as we realize, okay, this is not okay. We are all ultimately not happy. We are not self-fulfilling. We are not procreating. We are not enjoying life to its fullest. And so I think the more that we recognize what we are going through right now is a very big experiment with all of the technology, that we will become educated and we will ultimately, honestly change things, adjust things. I know I have with my kids. I've absolutely changed things, and I am teaching them, how to have more courage. Do not ghost, be honest, say the hard things, engage in the tough conversations, push yourself. You've got to have courage in this world. You've got to be able to, even if it's uncomfortable, just do it and you will build that muscle. So I do think that we will start to self-correct.
Good. Okay. I'm happy again, because I was like, why aren't more people like you? And then that I'm always hopeful. It's just weird. A lot of things, but it's why I think business is so good. You can speak, you can author, you can do all these different things. You can literally get compensated to help people.
That's true.
If you don't have this much of a heart to go, I'm not even doing this selflessly. Like, I'm doing this to get paid. Fine, whatever. Work on your heart, pray, but Cool. Still go build a successful company so you're not dependent on everyone. You can still help thousands of people, and maybe down the line you'll just be a better person. But I'm glad we had this conversation because
Me too.
I know you know more people like you, and I can't wait to introduce you to other good people. Kimmy's one of them. Allison's another one. There's a lot of, I could be here for days naming. I'm just looking for all the good people, and I had a feeling about you, so.
Well, I have enjoyed our time. It has been absolutely wonderful, and I'm so excited to, I'm obviously going to have you on my podcast, Mario.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. So you can go deeper with all the love romance stuff. Yes. Fantastic.
Thank you so much for this. It's been awesome.
And where would you like people to find you? Other than General Hospital and on TV and everywhere.
You can go to andypage.com, and I spell it ANDYPAIGE. You can also find my Girly Go Garter, which is my hands-free purse that I invented. And I encourage all the listeners to go to shophomeandheart.com to really engage in this experiment and to take advantage of the opportunities that General Hospital has created for the viewers and consumers.
I love it. Well, Andy, it's been a great talking with you, and I can't wait to continue the conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much.
All right, Expert Authority World, we have another great episode here today. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, and God bless. You're already the expert, but have you transformed your expertise into a tangible asset that will generate qualified leads while increasing profit for you 24/7? And if so, how well are you promoting it? With my new book, The Expert Authority Effect Publishing Method, I take you through my process step by step. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com to get started now. Once again, that's eapublishingmethodbook.com. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I would love to know what you enjoyed most from it. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to connect with me on my new LinkedIn. You can go to it directly at eainterviews.com/LinkedIn. Once again, that's eainterviews.com/LinkedIn. Lastly, check out the full eainterviews.com site for complete show notes, the full interview video experience, links to the resources we mentioned, and more. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next one.